Epstein didn't kill himself. Everybody's hashtagging it and throwing it into the middle of fucking any sort of conversation that you could think. It's fucking funny, dude. It's fucking funny.
Really?
Yeah. We'll come back around to it. Hey, you guys, what's up? Welcome back to People Are Terrible. I'm Jeremy. He's Caleb, and we're going to talk about stuff. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. We're going to talk about some weird news headlines. We're going to talk about some Florida man headlines, and then each of us has brought our own topic for the week. Caleb, yours is disturbing. What do you want to talk about, man?
The worst way to die.
Ooh.
Also, that was you came in hot on that switch into the intro.
Fucking knock it out, bro.
Yeah, it was a hard left turn.
And my topic is going to be some of the week's biggest memes, which I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you're probably already tired of them like I am. Like, I wore them out over this last week, even though I know they've probably been around longer than that. But I'm ready to move on. But before you and I get a chance to talk about it, I feel like we can't move on and feel good about it until both of us like roast it. Basically, that's how I'm feeling about it.
Sure,
why not? Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you for my enthusiasm.
So we're gonna go ahead and start things off like we do with the worldwide weird. The first one is and this week I did something a little different. I went just straight for the headlines. Hadn't read any of the stories, so the headline is as much as I know. Yes, and
cool.
hopefully these headlines lead us somewhere, but we're about to find out. Huffington Post reports that man gets really stoned after drinking McDonald's sweet tea. The victim ordered his tea with quote-unquote extra lemon, which he now believes was code for marijuana since he found 3 bags of weed in his cup.
Okay, what McDonald's is just giving out free weed?
Right. South Carolina. It's in Hilton Head, South Carolina. You bring up a good point.
If anywhere was going to give out free weed with their tea, it would probably be somewhere in South Carolina.
It's if that is indeed the code for weed, then that's a really bad drug dealer. All you got to do is ask for extra lemons, and they just throw bags of weed in your fucking tea. I need to find out which Hilton, which McDonald's this was immediately.
Well, and then he's not paying extra, doesn't sound like, for the tea. So Correct. He's a really bad drug dealer.
Correct. And if you have bags of weed in your tea, that ain't going to get you high.
Would it get you high at all? I know if you eat weed, it does.
I mean, if said bags of weed were emptied into the tea and it set like almost like sun brewed tea for, I don't know, days, I would imagine.
Yeah, like if you hot brewed it, probably.
Right. Yeah, you could absolutely get high off weed tea, but this wouldn't be the way to do it. And also the way that THC works, and I might be speaking out of turn. I'm not a fucking chemist or whatever, but if I'm not mistaken, it needs some sort of fat or oil to cling to that the cannabinoids don't actually stick to anything other than fat cells. So you would have to stick like cocoa oil or cocoa butter into the recipe so that the pot could bind to it, if I'm not mistaken. So this is another one of these situations like the fucking Halloween candy where I'm curious if maybe dude just threw a couple bags of weed into his McDonald's tea.
That seems pretty likely. You know?
It does. It seems more likely than the other situation.
It seems more likely than some random person in the back being like, free weed with your tea.
Okay, his name is Brown, and he says he believes, like I mentioned, that extra lemon was code for marijuana since he found 3 bags of weed in his cup. He says he only realized it once he was high as a kite. Brown said he'd never had marijuana, so he didn't recognize the taste. He says he paid regular price for the items. All right, look, you don't have to have tasted weed before or smoked weed to know if your tea's tasting funny.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, but granted, have you ever had McDonald's tea, their Lipton tea?
Yeah, it's a real crapshoot. It
always tastes fucking funny.
Yeah. You don't know who's brewing that shit. I find tea, especially here in the South, I don't know, you don't fuck with sweet tea, right?
It's the most disgusting thing on the planet.
Right. Big thing here in the South. And it's like you cannot get the same brew of tea two times from the same place because there's just like too many variables going on. Not only are you brewing the tea, which you can put different amounts of leaves in, but then you're also putting the sugar in it, and it depends on if it's hot or cold, how well the sugar freaking bonds to it. I like sweet tea pretty good, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't drink it very often. I grew up drinking it a lot because my mom's very Southern, but I don't drink it too much anymore. But I know that we went to New Orleans, I don't know, a couple months back, and every time we go and Victoria orders a sweet tea, they're just like, no, we don't do that. So
Really?
yeah. Most places in the South do it, but I think the more metropolitan the area, where I'm almost positive they do it in Atlanta.
You've heard my rant about that. I even hate the term unsweet tea.
Oh yeah, we have talked about that.
I hate that term because I'm like, you don't unsweet it. You know, it's just normal tea, and then there's sweet tea. It's not like you put in sweetener and then you take it out. That would be unsweetened tea.
Yeah, to me, it's like equivalent of the term cisgender. Get the fuck out of here with this.
Yes,
weird
no,
shit.
exactly. Like it's just what it is. If you take out the variable, you don't need to change it. Like it's not unsweet tea, it's just tea.
Yeah, there's a couple of those kind of things where it's like I can't think of another good example right now, but point taken. I know where you're coming from. Okay, so in addition to finding 3 bags of weed in his cup, he also must have, I mean, if this were going to happen, it means that the people at McDonald's were brewing weed into the tea, which would mean that they had to have multiple different big... The whole story just does not track to me. Nothing about this shit makes sense. I think it's a person who wanted attention or wanted notoriety.
It would make more sense if there weren't bags of weed in his tea, and like I could totally picture some people at McDonald's be like, "Hey man, when we brew the tea, let's put a ton of weed in it." Like I could picture something like that happening
for sure. And you know, I used to work at a Subway, and well, let's just we definitely had you know, similar things going on. But that said, it's like there was always an urban legend. I don't know if it's an urban legend, but it's something I always heard, that if you go to this certain Subway and you ask for extra jalapenos, the person behind the counter will sell you weed. Have you ever heard any variation of that?
Do you have to pronounce it jalapeno?
What do you say? Jalapenos?
Jalapeno.
Oh, okay. Very good. What are you, a Democrat running for fucking president? Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Shit. That was like, you saw the thing where they came out and they said their pronouns first?
No.
Did you see? Oh, a tangent real quick. It's the funniest thing. You need to see it. So Kamala Harris comes out and she's like, I'm Kamala Harris. My pronouns are her, hers, and she.
Oh, no.
And then one of the other guys goes, "Me too." I think he was making a joke. I really do. I think he was being an asshole.
He was.
But it was funny. It was like, you know, whatever. Guys have a sense of humor. But of course, everyone freaked out about it. So he's like, "Oh, no, I just like made a mistake. I meant to say like him, his, and her, or him, his, and he," you know?
Yeah, like I agree with that as the opposite. Me too, but exactly the opposite of that.
Yeah. I'm like, no, you made a joke at
Yeah.
Kamala Harris's expense and you fucking paid the price.
You were making fun of her, and I love you for it. Yeah, that's good. I wish more people had a sense of humor. Yeah, no fucking doubt, dude. So okay, excuse me. Let me try this again. You go in a Subway and you order extra jalapeno. That's my stereotypical fucking. So, anyways, but how do you know that people just don't want extra jalapeno? That's the problem with this whole system. Now you got to establish, like, do they look like a pothead and that they don't actually want extra jalapeno?
Yeah, like that's especially like extra lemon, extra jalapeno. That's like really like pretty standard things to ask for.
Yeah. Can I get
You're not
ice
like going
in my
into Subway
beverage?
and being like, "I want extra bread with extra cheese, no mushroom." It has to be this very specific thing.
Yes, that's how you keep the whole operation from falling apart.
Or you just sell weed out the back like a normal fucking person.
Correct. Yeah. You just make sure that you know who the person. Subway jalapeno weed. Let's see if this actually ever happened, because I feel.
I used to sell drugs outside of a KFC drive-through, like when I'm, you know.
Did you work
like,
there?
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, for sure. Weed, jalapeno, marijuana mixed with jalapeno. What? Oh, okay, yeah. Never mind. That's not a Subway story, but okay. So yeah, who knows if it ever actually happened? To me, it just sounds like one of those funny things. But there was a dealer that worked at the Holiday Inn in the pizza shop when we were kids, and he was the guy we'd go get nickel bags off of him on Friday and Saturday, like in the little 2-ounce plastic ramekins, is that what they're called? Like the little cups that they put the lids on top of. And he would throw a nickel bag in there, like enough for a joint, and close it up. And I can't remember what the code was, but the code was pretty much inconsequential because it was locals that were coming to him every single week. So it was like he knew what the fuck we were after when we came in.
Yeah, no, people would just drive directly up to the drive-through window, skip the thing, and then you would know who it was and sell to them.
Right, yeah, okay.
Yeah, also, we didn't sell weed. We stuff much harder stuff where you looked at the person and you knew who was using.
So you guys let us know what your thoughts are on sweet tea down in the comments section. That's what I'm the most curious about. Do you drink sweet tea? Is it the nastiest thing? Do you call it tea or unsweet tea? Let's discuss. So not only do we have fast food weed stories, but we're going to get into one of my favorite topics, and that is robots.
I was expecting aliens or animals when you said one of my favorites.
Yeah, I mean, we got to mix it up every once in a while. And this one is a Russian startup is selling autonomous robots, which buyers can choose to make look like any person on Earth. This is according to Fox News, where more Americans get their news than anywhere else. A Russian startup is selling I just said that. Everyone will be able to order a robot with any appearance for professional or personal use. Thus, we open a huge market in service, education, and entertainment. Imagine a replica of Michael Jordan selling basketball uniforms and William Shakespeare reading his own text in a museum, says Alexei, Russian name, chairman of board of directors of Promobot. So I don't know if you've seen pictures or videos of this guy
but I want
week.
to.
It's very uncanny valley.
Ooh, I do see it. You can buy a robot clone of anyone.
Yeah, and it looks incredibly realistic and still not realistic enough to not be incredibly unsettling.
So I wonder, and yeah, that's terrifying. The eyes on that thing. Man. I wonder, like, as far as rights go, can you just be like any person? You know, if you can go like, I don't know, Will Smith, Donald Trump, whoever. Can you just do that?
I think that's a really great question, and I don't know that there's legislation in place for it yet. Maybe right now you could. I know they did an Albert Einstein, and Einstein looks so much better than the CEO of that company. It's uncanny. And the robot's face has 18 moving parts, which allows it to make 600 micro expressions, and its artificial intelligence contains 100,000 speech modules. Another quote is, Promobot believes that a robot like this is capable of removing the barrier in human-machine interaction and replacing a number of employees in crowded places, post offices, banks, and municipal institutions. So great. They took our jobs.
I'm looking at the Einstein right now.
It's good,
You know someone is going to order one of these, and it's going to malfunction. It's going to bite their dick off. 100% this is happening.
So what you're saying is that somebody's ordering an Albert Einstein to have sex with?
Well, I mean, maybe, but no, I mean, they're gonna like, it's gonna look like Lucy Liu or some shit.
Okay, yeah, got you. Just another one of these.
Yeah,
it's like you kinky bastard.
Yeah, I'm no judgment if that's what you're into. If you're an Albert Einstein, do you?
I mean, they've had this technology around for a while in the Hall of Presidents at fucking Disney World in Florida.
Oh yeah, all those in that Abe Lincoln one too in California.
They're very realistic. I guess they're not artificial intelligence. That's going to be the big difference.
I'm very curious to see where this future of AI goes. Speaking of that, you have a PC, and this game, I think, came to PC now. Detroit Become Human. You absolutely need to play it.
I've heard about that.
It's right up your alley with AI and stuff. You would be obsessed.
All right. Well, there you go. Maybe I'll go ahead and get that on the PC and try it out. I've been looking for a new game, and I think it was you that told me that it is just super badass, so I need to try it out.
Yeah, it was PlayStation exclusive, but I think it now got ported to PC.
Nice. So yeah, they're primarily what we're looking at is going to be like bank tellers, cashiers at McDonald's that they probably won't sell you weed if you ask
That's
for
what I was
extra
just gonna
help.
say. That's an improvement.
I don't want this.
Do you don't want automated like people at restaurants?
Dude, I want the cute fucking what was the name of the maid? Oh, Lucy, right? On the Jetsons. I want like a cute robot that doesn't look like a person. It's just like a cute robot.
I would agree with that. But I do want like robotic bank tellers and stuff.
I mean, I've got at my bank, and your bank might have them as well. They're the ATMs that you can communicate live with a teller 24 hours a day. And to me, that's like close enough.
So I just hate dealing with like half of the fucking people at these places, like the cashier at Walmart. 9 times out of 10, they're miserable and they're angry at you for being there. You know, and it's just awful. So I'm all about this.
This may be a shock to some of the people listening because I might come off as a little cynical, but I feel like it is my mission in life to bring a little bit of joy to those fucking people because I get it.
Oh, I try. You're like, because I'm a fucking bubbly son of a bitch. I'm like, hey, how are you? And they're like, fine. Like, all right, fucking go kill yourself. And I tried.
Why aren't you a robot?
You are, yeah. The robot would probably have more personality than half these motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. I don't know. So the robot, he can move around. He's got freedom of movement, but cannot walk. So they're going to be stationary. I don't know. To me, the whole idea of a robot just seems so cost ineffective.
I agree with that.
Like there's so many ways around this. Yeah.
Well, and then too, as much as I'm like talking shit about it, there's going to be things where you're going to be just trying to get something fixed. Like imagine returning something to a robot.
Yeah, the whole like, I guess the artificial intelligence has to get really good, but like there are so many idiosyncratic ways of communicating, like nuances that artificial intelligence aren't going to be able to pick up on. Like if you say, oh yeah, that's really great to a fucking robot, are they going to be like, thank you, I appreciate it. You know what I mean?
But then I think of the other side of it. I think of my trip recently to any retail store that I've been to. Like I went to Bye Bye Baby, I was telling you, bought a baby monitor, which is already outrageous. The lady didn't know how to order it. It was there. First of all, they had 4 in stock. They couldn't find them. The lady didn't know how to order it, then charged my card twice for $350. And I'm like, is a robot really going to do any worse than that?
Yeah, no, probably much better. Okay, so picture this scenario. You could get instead of a baby monitor, you could get a baby monitor, like a robot to monitor your baby. Like you come into the room and the thing's like rocking the fucking crib or the cradle or whatever.
See, that's too far for me. No, it depends how the technology gets, but like, I don't know. I don't want. That's like, I don't know. There's just too much margins for error. I feel like that something could happen.
Hush, little baby.
Yeah.
Don't. That's fucking horrifying, bro.
It reminds me of the episode of Futurama where there's a giant nanny bot and it shoots out the thing. Like, what's it called? It's like, silence, baby. And it shoots the milk bottle.
Oh shit. I don't know, man. I don't know. I see him first, and I think porn. We've talked about it before. How much technology is advanced just so that people can fap, and I feel like the first application of these things is gonna be to fuck them.
Oh yeah, people are gonna be fucking these things everywhere. There's gonna be video. Here's how we're gonna live in a future where there's going to be VR videos that you can watch of yourself fucking a robot. That someone actually did it. That's how weird it's going to be.
It is. Yeah, dude, I don't know. We'll have to keep a close eye on this. What do you guys think about it? Let us know down in the comments section. And we're going to go ahead and move on to, this is from page6.com. And apparently this is a shocking but also not very surprising situation. Celebs come out against CGI casting of James Dean in new film. Did you hear about this?
No, I didn't hear about this.
So James Dean is set to star in an upcoming Vietnam-era drama called Finding Jack, despite the fact that the iconic actor died over 6 decades ago. So here we are 60 years later, and they are casting James Dean in this role because, and this is great, the production company says that they went through so many cast members. They tried everybody. They searched under every rock, and they could not find somebody who was good for this role except for James Dean. So they have cast a long dead man, and obviously they're going to use not the de-aging technology, but something very similar. They're going to take all of the footage that they have of James Dean, they're going to run it through some fucking algorithm, and then they're going to create a fully CGI version of James Dean to star in this movie. What do you think?
So there's no voice actor?
Actually, I'm glad you asked that. There is an actor who they're hiring to do that part.
They didn't hire James. They didn't replace an actor. This is fine. People are crybaby bitches. He's playing a CG character. Guess what? Golem. They couldn't find anyone who looked like Golem either.
Fuck that, dude. No, I all right, point taken a little bit, but Golem never existed as a real person. He doesn't have a family or an estate or fucking people who care about him that might still be alive.
Yeah, but I mean, if someone's... So is he playing James Dean or is he playing a character? So is he playing it's not like a biopic though, is it?
Correct. And what you said, if I'm not mistaken, he is not playing James Dean. He's playing a character.
Okay. I thought he was playing a cameo role as James Dean. That's why I was like, big deal.
No, and what's interesting...
Well, then what's the point of that? That's weird.
You do bring up, this isn't even all that new. If we go back a couple of years, Forrest Gump did it with JFK, and nobody really had a problem with that. But that said, he was in it for 1 minute.
Well, and even if they were making a biopic about James Dean, that wouldn't bother me either.
Man, I like how you give me shit about the way that I pronounce jalapeno, and then you're going to sit here and say biopic 5 times.
Biopic instead of biopic?
Yeah, dude. No. It's sickening.
No. Right. It's better than jalapeno.
Well, I don't know, man. I think we're going to have to get people to sound off down in the comment section. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Like people give me shit about the way I say theater.
That sounds fine to me.
No, I get so much shit about it. Why do you say that? Or I'll even say theater sometimes, and they're like, "Oh, why do you who gives a shit?"
That sounds fine to me. Yeah, that's fine. And actually, I don't care about the biopic thing either. I think it's pronounced either way, and that's fine.
But if it were about him and it was an actor playing him, it would be maybe different. But it is weird to be like, well, he's playing another character anyway. Why does it need to be James Dean?
And you are right. It's not like an actor's missing out on a role because of that. So that's not really a valid concern in a lot of ways. Chris Evans, obviously known as playing Captain America, he put out a tweet, and I mean, it's pretty straightforward. He says, "I'm sure he'd be thrilled with an eye-rolling emoji. This is awful. Maybe we can get a computer to paint us a new Picasso. Write a couple of new John Lennon tunes. The complete lack of understanding here is shameful." So coming at it from an artist perspective, and even as a person, can you imagine if something terrible happened and I were to pass away, and then 50 years later, people are using not just my likeness, but actually a rendered version of me without my consent, without my...
To me, if it was a movie about you, that's totally fine. I wouldn't bother that. But if they're making a movie about aliens, well, I guess you'd be pretty happy about that. They're making a movie about I don't know, football, and one of the football players looks like you. It'd be kind of just why? What's the point in that?
Well, and the thing is, James Dean, as iconic as he is, he's a model. He was only in 3 movies, and I was actually putting together clips for this particular podcast so I can run some fucking B-roll or B-reel while we're talking about it, and he wasn't all that good.
No, I agree. I've seen James Dean movies, and they're not anything to write home about.
No, it's weird. I mean, yeah, that he's very iconic. I feel like you could cast James Franco or something. It'd be close enough.
But my thing, and what I'm really keep going back to, and I caught up on, is why does this random character have to look like James Dean?
I believe, and I mean, it's just the nature of the business. This is putting so much publicity on this project that maybe nobody would give a shit about otherwise, but now it's everybody's going to be like, oh, the one where they... And when I say everybody, who are the boomers that are fucking so stoked to see James Dean in a movie? Do kids know who James Dean is?
Oh yeah, hipsters love all that shit.
That's fair. That's fair. And he's kind of timeless, like your Audrey Hepburn or something, where even new
Hipsters love
generation.
Audrey Hepburn and love James Dean and never seen an Audrey Hepburn or James Dean movie.
Yeah, they have the black and white print of them in
And they
their.
have shirts of them, and that's what it is right now.
So Elijah Wood added the caption, "Nope, this shouldn't be a thing." I guess just replying to Chris Evans, and then okay, so the co-director, Anton Ernst told THR that the casting department, quote, searched high and low for the perfect character to portray the role of Rogan, which has extreme complex character arcs. And after months of research, we decided on James Dean. We feel very honored that his family supports us and will take every precaution. Okay, so it sounds like the estate's cool with it to keep the film stars to date. Wait. The legacy of one of film's most epic stars is kept firmly intact. The family views this as as his fourth movie, a movie he never got to make. We do not intend to let his fans down. Okay.
Here's my thing, though. I do take a little gripe with what Chris Evans said about like, oh, where's the artistic and this. There is art in this. There's someone building James Dean. There's someone, there is art direction. There's someone voice acting it. So even though I think it's weird, let's not discount art because it's new art. This is a very thing that bothers me with people. People go, well, it's not the art of my generation. There were people who said talking movies were not real art. There were people who said the move from stop motion to CG was not real art. I do have a problem where he says it's not art. It's art. It's just a different type of art that you're not used to.
So if we take this to its next kind of logical conclusion, in a way, you're comparing this as Martin Scorsese and Francis Ford Coppola saying that tentpole summer blockbusters aren't real cinema is kind of the same idea as like
exactly.
That's an interesting take on it, and I absolutely agree with the fact that this is art and it's a marvel of technology. I just it's that idea of
it's like weird
protecting the I mean, what does this mean moving forward that we can recreate? What's the point in even having fucking physical actors on a set if everybody can just go into a VO box and we can bring back Marilyn Monroe and all of these iconic actors from before my parents' generation? I just, it's a weird move. I don't understand
the point more than anything. Like I said, if they were making a movie about James Dean, I think it's fine. And also, too, it's not going to look that good. No matter how good this technology gets, I mean, it'll probably be within our lifetime. But currently, right now, everything, like, I didn't even watch it, but people were raving about, like, Gemini Man. And I saw some clips of that. That thing was just terrifying to watch.
It looks weird. Yeah.
It looks weird. Not that the technology isn't great. It's just we're not there yet.
So, all right. What about if we bought a James Dean robot and we put him in the movie?
I think that's amazing.
Problem solved. All right, let's go ahead and move on. First and foremost, from Fox News, it looks like somebody stole an 8-foot Bigfoot statue from a mattress store. Oh, the humanity. 8-foot, 300-pound statue of Sasquatch went missing last month outside Mattress Monsters in Boynton Beach, Florida, says the police on Wednesday. This hard-to-miss figure was valued at $3,000 and was stolen sometime between the 6th and the 13th, but the owner didn't report the theft until the 20th. The store didn't realize it was missing right away due to there being a lot of other large decorations outside for Halloween. Obviously, it took more than one person to steal the statue. It's not exactly the easiest thing to hide. Police asking for information. Contact Danielle Whitefield at 56. Ooh, we got another phone number. 561-732-8116. We could maybe call that, but it says we don't.
They don't deserve it.
We don't need your name, just Bigfoot's location. Look, Boynton, if I knew where Bigfoot was, you think I'd be doing this podcast?
I'm telling you, if they want those statues, I see them all over Colorado.
Yeah, I mean, how hard could it be to come up with one of these fucking stupid things? I used to work at a restaurant called Peg Leg Pete's here in Pensacola, and we had a Captain Hook style pirate, a big wooden sculpture pirate out front. He got stolen and was missing for, I don't know, several weeks. before being turned back in. So I don't know if somebody
So
got
someone just took it to fuck around?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I can't think what else they would have wanted that thing for.
That's exactly what it is. It's just like people being idiots, which, I mean, I'm assuming. I don't understand personally, though, wanting to steal something like that. Like, I don't get what you get out of stealing a giant Bigfoot statue.
No, it seems like a high risk, low reward kind of situation there. Either you steal it and then you put it in your house, or you steal it and you get arrested for it, or you just take it back to them. And then it's like, I don't know. I think it's interesting that they didn't notice that it was gone.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like there was a ton of crap out there for Halloween that they put. So it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know. Of all of the things that you could steal as far as like a sculpture goes, I think the Bigfoot's a pretty good one. I'm just confused as to why they aren't referring to him by his real name, the Florida skunk ape.
The Florida skunk ape, is that a thing?
That's our version of Bigfoot. That's what they always called him.
That's the worst name ever for a Bigfoot.
Yeah, skunk ape. I guess he smells really pungent, according to all those very honest, very reliable people that encountered him.
Skunk ape. I'm sorry. Skunk ape. Also known as the swamp cabbage man.
Oh yeah, as you would.
Swamp ape, stink ape, Florida Bigfoot, Louisiana Bigfoot, swamp squatch.
I like that one.
Okay, I just like swamp ape is pretty good, or swamp cabbage man is pretty good.
That's a weird one right there. I've never actually heard that before. Swamp cabbage man.
That's I think what we're gonna call him from now on.
This is not exactly related, but I was watching Joe Rogan Experience the other day because I'm a bro. And they had what's his name? Awesome special effects artist Rick Baker was actually the guest on it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he was talking about a lot of his work, and he actually said that his favorite work that he ever did was the ape Harry from Harry and the Hendersons, and I thought that was really interesting of a choice.
That is a really interesting choice. I mean, it's a cool animatronic, but I don't know if I would say it's even for me personally his best.
No, you would think that it would always be the go-to, the transformation in American Werewolf in London.
Yeah. Yeah, you think that would be like what he's most proud of. I mean, it's his most iconic, I would say, scene.
And I'd imagine the one that really launched him into being the Rick Baker that everybody knows him as. It was also...
And man, that holds up well. You go back and watch it.
It really does. And I'm actually looking at a picture of Harry right now, and he looks pretty great. Rick Baker's note that he said, he's like, if I could have changed one thing, I think I would have made his teeth a little more translucent at the ends of them. And I'm just like, fuck, man, the attention to detail of these guys is incredible.
Of these artists, like the people who are going to make James Dean.
Yeah. I see a picture of Ron Perlman next to Harry, and the
Ron Perlman looks
uncanny.
like everything.
Ron Perlman looks like everything.
He looks like naturally like Hellboy, like he already did before they put any makeup on him. He looks like Beauty and the Beast before they put any makeup on him. He looks like Harry and the Henderson. He also looks like a cat. Like there's so many different things that Ron Perlman looks like.
Yeah, I definitely like the Beauty and the Beast makeup is very kind of feline looking.
Hey, yeah, have you seen like the cats that look like Ron Perlman? Have you ever seen this?
I'm looking at it right now, and it's ridiculous. Yeah, Ron Perlman looks like everything. That is it's a nice little observation right there.
He does. You can literally make everything that looks like him.
I see a side by side of Will Ferrell and Ron Perlman, and it's sort of similar.
See, that's what I mean. Like he has this unique look that looks like everything.
You just put him next to a picture of anything, and you're like, oh yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, you're like, I can see something.
All right, well, Florida skunk. The whereabouts of this iconic landmark. Please let the police department know. Oh, okay. You'll like this one. Fox News says Florida woman files federal lawsuit to keep her emotional support chickens. A woman in Florida has filed a federal lawsuit in hopes of keeping her 4 pet chickens, which were prescribed to her to help cope with PTSD. What a horrible emotional support animal.
I hate this woman. I hope the chickens eat her face.
What a worthless, and like we've talked in length about different animals and how I believe that people should be able to have emotional support animals. You're pro cat, like we like animals, but a chicken, it's like having like 4 koi fish as your fucking emotional support animals. What are they gonna do for you?
It's like having an emotional support sandwich. That's what that's like.
The thing, actually, though, to be fair, koi fish and sandwiches, they don't fucking wake you up at 6 o'clock in the morning
True.
calling at the moon or the sunrise or whatever. These things stress me out watching them. They look so fucking stressed out. Their eyes are just like huge and bugged out, and they just like they look like a stressful animal, and they're just like just fucking constantly, dude. It would be the worst.
No, they are the worst thing ever. I remember me and my wife were at some farm and there was this giant ass chicken and my mom's like, isn't it cute? And we're like, no, it's a chicken. It looks like it'd be great to cook because it's huge, but that's how I view chickens.
Oh man. Okay, so she says,
Did I tell you the story? Speaking of that, I'm going to go a little quick tangent, derail, but did I tell you the story about in Denver with all the geese that they killed?
No.
So we have a huge geese problem out here. So they're everywhere. People hit them with their cars. They're just everywhere. So the city stepped in. They're like, they're overpopulated. They're this. So they rounded up a ton of these, like 2,000 of them, killed them, and gave the meat out to all the local homeless shelters.
That's great.
Which I thought was great, right? Everyone here lost their mind.
What?
And I'm like, oh, you shouldn't. They're killing these animals. I'm like, these animals were overpopulated. People were hitting them with their cars. Like, there was a population problem, and it's better than just killing them and like getting them out of here. Like, we did something with the meat. I thought it was great.
There's an invasive species known as the lionfish that wasn't normally native to the Gulf of Mexico, and it got completely out of control to the point that they started offering money for them, and restaurants actually started putting them on the menu as trying to turn it into like a delicacy, which it never really picked up because it kind of tastes like shit. But it's a good idea. If you're going to deal with a population problem, Nutri-Rats. I don't know if you're familiar with those. They're kind of like beavers. They're big ass rodents that.
Oh, I didn't know what you're talking about.
And Louisiana has a huge fucking problem with them, so they started offering money for the pelts, and they started putting them on menus places to encourage that people eat them. And dude, I would think that would be a more humane way to deal with a goose than letting it get hit by a fucking car that may or may not kill it.
Dude, I can't tell you how many times I saw dead ones on the side of the road over in my neighborhood because there's a big lake by my house, or like there was one day I walked out and there was like 5 of them just sitting on my patio, just like on the furniture, and I'm like, oh, they're gonna shit all over my furniture.
Well, that's weak sauce that anybody would be upset about that. This lady, her quote says, "My psychiatrist provided them a letter to acknowledge that the emotional support animal is beneficial to somebody with mental health difficulties," which obviously I'm disappointed in the fact that those chickens live in my private home that I pay a mortgage on, and how people that don't live in my house and aren't affected by this are so interested in being a part of it. She calls the chickens her girls, and they give her emotional support that her medicine can't. It's just disappointing, but God doesn't close a door unless he's got 4 open windows. My girls have changed my life in a positive way, and I'm not removing them. All my family members, my mom, my dad, my brother, and my husband are all deceased. The girls are all I have. Well, that's sweet though. Like,
here's my thing is, so
chickens?
she's not in an apartment or anything, right?
Right.
She's in her own private home.
Uh-huh.
But is it because she has like a big chicken coop out back and they're making noise? Is that what it is in the neighborhood?
Karen Morris of Fort Myers claims that the Lee County authorities have violated the Federal Fair Housing Act by ordering her to rehouse her chickens within 30 days and pay a $285 fine. Yeah, okay. And she could have to pay $25 for every day she keeps the chickens around once the 30-day grace period they've given her is up. So yes, what it sounds like is that the neighborhood doesn't like her having chickens on her property.
Which I think is completely understandable. I hate, like, especially if there's any actual roosters out there, you know? And that's the thing is I get that a lot of times when I see these emotional support animals, 9 times out of 10, I honest to God think about how selfish the person is. There's this thing that people do that they forget that we operate in a society. And I'm very aware of that. That we are a community, and I try to do things not to disrupt that community.
We live
You
in a
know,
society.
but at the same time, you do need to have some personal freedoms. Don't do anything that's going to disturb that. You need to have some personal freedoms. But there gets a point where you're taking your chicken on an airplane where you're just being a selfish dick now at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that 100%. That's kind of what I think. That's the takeaway is. I'm pretty libertarian as far like you should be able to do whatever the fuck you want as long as it doesn't really interfere with other people or it's on your property. I don't know. I think chickens on your own property, that seems fair to me. Because chickens make noise. So do seagulls. So do doves. So do geese. So do fucking any wild bird that you think about. But if she were trying to carry 4 chickens onto an airplane, that would be a little bit ridiculous. But from what I understand, she is in full right to have these chickens as emotional support animals.
Well, and on what you're saying too, is it really any more annoying than the neighbor's loud dog that barks all night?
Right.
Probably less disturbing.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many places I've lived where a dog barks constantly, and you're like, come on, that's like, I know you love your dog, but like, do something about it.
Yeah, and handle that.
And there's, it's not really any more disturbing than that. It's just a different animal that's annoying in a different way.
Yeah, I don't believe that it could really provide all that much emotional support. She probably was like, I want these chickens. People aren't going to let me do it. So I want to see an emotional support chicken in the vest, though. You know what I mean? Like, if they're emotional support, yeah.
I do want to see her take one on a plane.
They're so worthless, man. It's such a fucking worthless animal. Give me an emotional support cow. Give me an emotional support mouse. Anything that's like a mammal. There has
to be an end to this at some point. Like, you know what I mean? Are you going to have your emotional support alligator in your yard?
Same kind of thing. Like, what can that thing possibly offer you? I just don't get it. The fact that she's like, my whole family's deceased and these chickens are all I got. Get a fucking dog, lady.
Get a dog. Get a cat. Get literally a fucking ferret is going to be better than that.
Way better. Unless she plans on eating them when the time comes. I don't know, man.
No, I think she's just a crazy person.
Crazy person indeed. She ain't lying about it, though. She's like, look, I'm a crazy person.
I need my chickens.
And I need these fucking chickens.
Oh, man.
That's some, yeah. All right. Well, okay, one last story before we go ahead and switch to our topics. This one is from the local Fox 4KC. I'm assuming Kansas City. No. Miami Beach, Florida. There's something all you need to understand, says Madonna, as in her Las Vegas concert while perched atop a piano, legs swinging, and that is that a queen is never late. Florida man sues Madonna, saying her 10:30 p.m. concert start is too late. Originally they purchased tickets that were for an 8:30 showing. However, Madonna's X tour has recently changed their hours in multiple locations. So now the show doesn't start at 8:30, but rather starts at 10 o'clock. So this man, Nate Hollander, is taking the singer to court over her late start times. He's filing a lawsuit in Miami-Dade County against both Live Nation, who is the company that is putting on the tour, and Madonna, alleges that the change in start times is a breach of contract made between the singer and the ticket buyer. He spent over $1,000 on these tickets. Okay, so it was originally 8:30, and now it's been changed to 10:30. For those like Hollander who bought tickets and don't want to attend the concert that was late, a refund has not been offered, he alleges. He's saying that he suffered an extreme loss of value of the tickets because of the time change that makes reselling them, quote-unquote, impossible. His 3 tickets costed $1,024.95. And he says he suffered actual and consequential damages, including but not limited to loss of consideration paid and devaluation of the tickets. CNN reached out to Madonna and Live Nation via email and voicemail, but requests for comment have not been returned. What do you think, man?
I think he made a mistake when he spent $1,000 to see Madonna.
End of story. Get the fuck
No.
out of here.
No, honestly, I'm kind of on his side.
He has a point.
I mean, here's my thing is, I don't know this situation. What if he had a babysitter lined up for this time and now these tickets are actually have no value? What if, like, I don't know the situation enough to say, but there's I mean, you know, as an adult, sometimes there's things you can't attend at a certain time or do at a certain time. And if you plan it, you schedule it, it's at a certain time, you know what you're doing, and then you can't attend it. I mean, it's kind of shitty.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think he has a very valid point. I mean, at the end of the day, I think if he's entitled to anything, it's the price of the tickets. Yeah,
I agree. And what is he asking for? More?
I don't know. It doesn't actually say in the lawsuit, but by the language that he's using, suffered actual and consequential damages, including but not limited to loss of consideration pay. Okay, so let's take it even a step further. Let's say he's from 3 states away, and he booked a hotel room, and he booked a babysitter, like you said, that's got to stay through the weekend, and he paid for everything up front, and he's scheduled off work. So now we're looking at like maybe $5,000. Let's say he was going to spend $5,000 on the trip. You can cancel all that other shit. You just can't obviously get refunds on the tickets.
Because I was saying, can't you cancel like your plane and everything? I mean, sometimes they may not give you money back, but they'll at least give you like a voucher for another vacation.
Yeah, right. And I mean, 8:30 and 10:30 is a big difference in time, but it's also like if you are coming in from out of town and you've already scheduled the shit off, I mean, you're good.
That's my thing. If you are traveling, then I don't understand it, because if you are traveling, then you've already taken time off work. You've already, you know, just stay out a little later, drink some fucking coffee, dude. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Those are expensive ass tickets, man. Holy cow, $1,024
for Madonna. I mean, I get she's a classic, but
yeah, classic indeed. Maybe this guy's just got a real early bedtime, because let's be honest, if you're a Madonna fan, you're probably
not the youngest person.
Yeah.
I don't know. I went out to a bar last night and I came home by 9, so I can't talk shit.
No, I get it. I like to go to sleep early because I like to wake up super early in the morning. So I definitely understand this. I would be a little like, okay, if it were me and I had bought tickets to go see Madonna, I'd be pissed.
I would too. Honestly, I'd be like, man, I didn't plan on this. Would I be pissed enough to do this? If I'm going out of state, I'd be like, well, I'll just stay another 2 hours later if I really want to see her that bad.
And I believe that the idea that because the tickets are 2 hours later that they're impossible to sell is just complete and utter laziness.
That was my thing. 100%. Why would that change anyone? Not everyone else is going to care about that.
I tell you, there are plenty of gay men who do not mind going to a fucking show at 10:30 at night.
Oh, dude. Have you partied with gay men? They party harder than anyone I've ever known.
Oh, fuck yeah. And somehow, like, get up and go to work in the morning.
Dude, my friend Will, whenever we go out, it's like I'm always the only straight guy there. And who's the first one tapping out and throwing in the towel with me? They're just, like, partying. And you're like, and then I'll talk to them. They're like, I didn't get home till, like, 6 in the morning. And you're like, no, dude, that sounds miserable.
Older gay guys too, man. They
No, I know. Like dudes in their like 50s and 60s will party.
Yeah. Props
it's impressive.
Yeah, it really is. I don't know. The suffered an extreme loss of value. I think this guy just sounds like a tit. That said, I understand where he's coming from.
I understand where he's coming from, but he also sounds a little bit like a bitch.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, let us know down in the comment section. Another thing, old score that I need settled. I know I've brought it up to Caleb before. I don't know how many of you guys that are watching have had this question postulated to you, but who's a bigger icon, Madonna or Kylie Minogue? Caleb, Kylie or Madonna?
Who's the fuck's Kylie Minogue?
Thank you very much. All right, that's all I needed to know. You guys let us know down in the comment section. Kylie Minogue.
I'm seriously asking who's Kylie Minogue.
Let me pull up some of her songs. The one that I always think of right off the top is "Come on, do the locomotion with me."
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
singles, and she's definitely an icon, and she's definitely.
Who said that she was an icon over Madonna?
My wife's brother and his husband, and dude,
they are very wrong.
And they are huge Kylie fans. They go all over the world to see her, like fucking Paris and Australia. So they love this lady, and I'm like barely invested at all. So I was really just being a dickhead to be like, the only reason why Kylie's even shit is because of Madonna, and you guys just can't.
I
admit
literally
it.
was not joking when I said, "Who is she?" Like, I had no idea who she was.
Yeah, and let's see. I'm gonna pull up some of her singles.
I thought you were gonna give me like a real one, like Madonna or Cher.
That would be a debate, but I still go Madonna, man.
I still go Madonna, but there's a debate there.
Yes.
We have the debate over Michael Jackson or Prince last night at the bar.
And
I said, I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. He's my favorite musician of all time. I said, I think Michael Jackson is definitely more of an icon, hands down. However, I think there's a serious argument to be made that Prince has a much better catalog.
I think Prince is the superior artist, and that Michael Jackson's one of the most iconic people of all time. Like, I don't think
that's kind of where we landed on it.
Yeah. And I think maybe you could look at Kylie and Madonna in similar terms, because Kylie is a songwriter and a musician, and she plays piano and all that kind of stuff that I don't think Madonna can do. I don't know, though. Okay, so here's her big songs. Can't Get You Out of My Head. I don't know what that is. Especially for You. No idea. I Should Be So Lucky. No idea. The Locomotion. Hey, I know that one from 1988. All the Lovers, Love at First Sight, Spinning Around, In Your Eyes. Any of this ringing a bell? I have no idea what any of this shit is. No,
like I said, this was the kind of conversation we were having last night about best musicians. I don't think popularity means you're the best musician.
No, not at all.
I was like, you can bring me someone who has one hit or no hits, and they can be the best musician of all time. But if we're not talking about that, we're talking about actual status, then that's a different conversation.
All right, yeah, that was turned into a pretty heated debate during Thanksgiving. It went from who's better, Kylie or Madonna, to fucking gun control, and I honestly think we were more measured about the gun control conversation.
That's how it usually is. Like, I'll get with my friends and we'll talk about some hot button issue. It'll be like Trump impeachment. We'll have this like calm conversation, but then we had the "Is Jay-Z good?" conversation last night. That was the most heated part of it.
God damn it. All right, let's switch into our weekly topics. Caleb, you got me thinking about terrible ways to die, and there are a lot of them, man. So how did this come about? What made you think that this was the right idea?
Literally nothing. All my topics, I literally like, what's my topic? And I was like, what's something we haven't discussed? And that was just popped into my head.
You farted and it sounded like terrible ways to die?
Yeah, it was so nasty that it was going to kill someone.
All right, so I went to Ranker to find out what the worst way to die is. I mean, my first instinct is to say things like drowning, burning in a fire. Those sound terrible, right?
Yes. My first thing is like drowning, but I know with fire. So I went with fire for a while, but I'm like, well, you pass out usually from the smoke before the fire gets you. Mm-hmm. And then the fire burns your nerve endings pretty quickly while you're asleep.
So you're saying it
may not be the worst.
Okay, yeah. Burning alive or drowning, I think they both sound pretty terrible. I feel like drowning isn't probably. I don't know. I don't feel like drowning's probably as traumatic or as like actual painful as getting burned alive.
I think it would be scary as shit.
It would be horrifying. Yeah, it's a scary freaking feeling to run out of oxygen. I mean, being buried alive, same kind of thing. That would suck. To be aware that your life is just moments away from freaking being snuffed out is got to be a pretty horrifying feeling.
So I know I pulled up an actual list of like mine were 10 worst ways to die according to science.
Okay. Well, let's start kind of working our way through there.
Number 10, starvation. They say that the lack of vitamins, minerals lead to weakness, constipation, feeling hungry, and that your whole body just starts shutting down, and it's a very long, drawn out experience.
I believe you can survive up to about 2 months without any food. However, obviously you're going to need hydration way more frequently than that. But what the scary thing about starvation is once you've depleted any sort of food and nutrients you have in your system because you ate, it's after that you start to consume your own fat, and you're going to lose weight pretty fast, up to 18% of your body mass within the first month or something like that. And then after that, your body starts to kind of eat and consume itself, because it's trying to cling on to whatever kind of, vitamins, minerals, and shit that it can get. So yeah, very slow, drawn out, and probably one of the most devastating, and even throughout the world, one of the more common horrible ways to die, which is just, it's horrible to think about how hard it is to die from starvation, and then to realize that, tens of thousands of people a year throughout the world actually do die of starvation. So that sucks.
What was yours on the list?
Oh, here. How about this one? I'm not going any specific order, but what about if your colon is perforated by a horse?
Well, that sounds pretty horrible.
Yeah, you're fucked to death by a horse. That would suck.
Pretty horrible.
Or being devoured by starved dogs. Like, I mean, there are so many horrible ways that you could die, but if you're like just out, I don't know, somewhere in the wild, and a pack of starving dogs, any animal fucking eating you would
sounds miserable.
Suck.
That's like the closest thing you're getting to a real life zombie attack.
Yes, dude. Yes, it would suck. It would suck. I found out this just terrible torture method that they have, where they will put you in a box, then they enclose the box up around your neck. So your neck is the only thing exposed, and they cover it in honey so that the flies start landing on your face and doing whatever flies do, slowly eating this honey off of you. While you're in the box, you inevitably are going to defecate yourself after a period of days or whatever, and then the maggots are going to start growing out of your feces, and the maggots will slowly consume you and eat you alive.
That sounds miserable.
It's fucking horrifying, dude. And these aren't the things I would have thought about ahead of time. Like I said, you think about drowning or burning or some relatively common way of dying, things you've actually thought about. And then they get real creative on some of these lists, man. I'm like, oh God, dude, that does sound real shitty.
According to my article, number 9 would be dehydration is is worst way to die than starving.
Oh, right.
And they say one of the reasons why is pretty quickly your brain starts to shrink and detach from your cranium.
Oh, no.
And causes internal bleeding in your brain. Then your muscles obviously start to cramp. And then each organ, one by one, shuts down and dies.
Oh, man. Dehydration sounds like that would suck. And you get I don't know, a matter of a week or something like that before you totally are going to cash out from dehydration. And again, kind of like the starvation thing, there are so many places in the world where they don't have access to fucking clean water. And another thing is drinking contaminated water and then getting diarrhea and dysentery and all of that shit and getting dehydration that way.
What other one? What weird one do you have next?
So in India, thousands of years ago,
the elephants.
Yeah, dude, they would train elephants to stomp you to death.
That sounds horrible.
Oh my God, dude. It's just like, please stomp on my head and kill me immediately. But yeah, they would literally, as a means of public execution, have an elephant trample you to death.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, that's a bad one. That's a bad one.
Number 8 on the list is decapitation, which wouldn't have popped into my head, because you think, okay, it's over, But back in the day, they say when it happened, it wasn't like in movies where your head would just fall off. It would usually take anywhere from 4 to 6 blows with an axe.
Oh my God.
And there's a report of, I forget who it was, someone saying where the woman kept praying through all of it and was letting out groans of pain. The execution of Mary Stuart took 3 blows, which she let out a horrible groan in pain. According to some, even kept praying. The executioner eventually had to hack the rest off with a knife.
Oh my God.
And they're saying science does say you will survive after your head is detached for about 3 to 5 seconds.
That's a pointless 3 seconds right there. Like what shit. I don't. Yeah, that's a weird one. I wonder if you have any sort of consciousness at that point. I guess you can't really ask anybody after the fact, but that's interesting to think about. I've heard about, like your nerves surviving or you being able to see your body for a second or some shit, but I don't know how you can quantify
they
that.
said it used there's some accounts, some scientists say it could be up to 30 seconds, which I would be terrifying if it was that long. But yeah, they're saying 3 to 5 is where most scientists pretty much agree on.
So two that are pretty closely related, I imagine the sensation is probably similar. That is impalement and crucifixion.
Oh, crucifixion would be just... Oof.
Either way, you're being hung by your freaking... what am I trying to say? The area of trauma is what's keeping you suspended off the ground. So either you've been stabbed through your freaking midsection and then stuck up in the air to where you're like slowly sliding down this fucking pike or stake or whatever they use. And then crucifixion, obviously, by the hands and by the feet. And you hang there, and a lot of times it's dehydration that kills them because they're able to survive up there for fucking days, which just sounds horrible.
Yeah, that just sounds like I couldn't imagine being crucified. That sounds like an absolute terrifying way to go.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
Number 7 on this list is really going to surprise you, what they said. Lethal injection.
Really?
Yeah, and they're saying the reason why is because it's not highly regulated, and there's multiple different parts. They put in there are 3 elements: lethal injection, sodium thiopental to render you unconscious, pancorium bromide to paralyze you, and potassium chloride to kill you. They said the problem is there's no real. They go, even though it looks like a medical procedure, it's really not. It's kind of just a guessing game, and that most people end up being given a dose of sodium. The paralyzing one that is far too low. Often the highest dose administered is only 2 times the lethal dose of a small animal. This means that they may not be paralyzed, but they might be paralyzed, but they'll still be conscious for the other 2 ingredients while they slowly suffocate them and stop their heart, the process of which is extremely painful. Eyewitness reports have included instances in which inmates groan, writhe, and attempt to sit up during the procedure. I didn't expect that to be above decapitation.
Nah, you would think that. I mean, it's almost like they sell it as being humane.
Like the humane.
Yeah. That's crazy.
That was eye-opening for me.
And even botched electrocutions are something that happen from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that real talk, and this one kind of sucks, but dying of cancer is not a fun thing for people. It doesn't seem like.
Oh no, that seems like a miserable way to go.
And it's a slow deterioration.
It's a slow process.
Yeah,
and trust me, last year that was very much my thought process.
I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine that being a horrifying thing, especially because almost everybody's got experience, or a lot of people have experience watching somebody.
Oh yeah, I feel like almost everyone does.
Yeah,
like almost everyone knows someone who has passed from cancer or is related to someone.
Freezing to death is one that's on the list, but from what I understand, and I mean, I don't know, but I heard it's almost euphoric.
Really?
I don't know why I heard that, but something about it being extremely relaxing as you start to die from hypothermia. It's just like you're, Go ahead and go on to your next one, and I'm going to pull this up.
We actually kind of touched on the next 2 on the list. So electrocution is number 6, and they're saying because it literally just like fries your body on the inside, and that's when it's done properly. When it's done improperly, it's way worse. Number 5 on the list we also covered, which was crucifixion. And then let's see what number 4 is. I didn't even get to number 4 yet.
Ooh, yeah, dude.
Decompression apparently is number 4.
What is it?
Decompression.
Oh, from coming up out of the water too fast?
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to just kind of read this, and this comes from whatculture.com. So in 1983, 4 divers were inside a decompression chamber on the Byford Dolphin oil rig when it explosively decompressed. The air pressure went from 9 atmospheres to 1 in less than a second. The damage is wrought everything in the thoracic and abdominal regions, including his spine, was forcibly ejected from his body and flung up to 30 feet. His chest and organs and trachea were found scattered about the chamber.
Oh my God.
So drop in pressure will have caused blood to boil. Autopsy found high levels of fat and blood fat that essentially dropped out of his and dissolved into boiling. There's just bunch of story of people asphyxiating. They say bubbles of gases dissolve in the blood and will begin to form and travel throughout the circulatory system, causing extreme pain and obstructing blood flow.
This is weird. Apparently, people, and I didn't find anything about the euphoria part of it, but there's this thing called terminal burrowing, where as you start to freeze to death, it's almost like a human programmed, like evolutionary instinctual thing to start digging holes, because the small enclosed area of ice around you will actually help insulate and retain some of your body heat. So people will oftentimes start digging holes, and then as they get into a more delusional state, they do something that's called paradoxical undressing, where now they've dug themselves into this hole and they'll pull off all of their clothes. That's so weird.
That is a very bizarre one.
Yeah. Apparently there's like multiple strange, like almost involuntary, bizarre reactions that people have when they start to freeze to death. But I don't know where I came up with that idea. If any of you guys have heard anything about euphoria as you're freezing to death, let us know.
This actually segues perfect into number 3 on this list. Number 3 is actually burning. And it says, the question, would you rather, those would you rather questions? If someone gives you the option of burning to death or freezing to death, choose freezing. They talk that, like I said, this is my misconception, that about 75 of people die from carbon monoxide poisoning rather than burning. As much as this sounds like mercy, it's often the reason people get caught in fires in the first place, as the toxic fumes will render you unresponsive, but not unconscious. So I thought, So they said, imagine touching like a hot plate all over your body and you're awake, but you're not able to move.
Oh, shit, dude. That's awful.
Yeah.
You're just laying there paralyzed, letting it fucking happen.
And they said usually what happens, burn victims die from of blood and fluid loss is usually what actually takes you by the time it happens. So I thought it was like you pass out and then like you didn't wake up for it and you just burned to death. But according to that, is not like you feel it all. So that changes that entirely.
Damn. One that's pretty horrible, and also a kind of a chapter in American history. Obviously, lynching is a bad one, but the one that I think about just being really, really horrible is being drugged behind a car.
Yes, drugged behind a horse car. Oh, that's all. That sounds just miserable. Being ripped apart.
Yeah, slowly, and almost like it's kind of a flaying in some ways, where your freaking skin is being removed as you're being fucking drugged. Which, it's the trauma alone of it. I think like your body will go into shock, and it's just like you can only handle so much.
Yeah, I think some of the stuff I would assume, I would like to, maybe this is just maybe because I would want to think the alternative, but I would like to assume that eventually, your body just shuts down and you can't feel anything.
Yeah, for sure. It's hard to ask afterwards.
Number 2 is radiation.
Oh yeah, that sounds bad, like Chernobyl.
Yeah, they said the actual process of reducing symptoms. Okay. The severity of your symptoms depends on the dose and the type of radiation. Small doses will bring about nausea, headaches, vomiting, fevers, rashes. Slightly higher dose will start to rip apart your cells, causing blood cells, red and white, to die. That means weakened immune system, hemophilia, and anemia as your white blood cells, red blood cells, and let me see, extreme doses. It's just talking about how your body, it has neurological damage, tremors, seizures, headaches, vomiting, and become a debilitating, intense, and treatments such as blood and bone marrow transfusions will be ineffective. You will certainly die from those doses fast. This is the case with short, intense bursts of radiation. However, long-term, low-level exposure massively increases the risk of cancer and radiation to cause your DNA to mutate. So.
Damn. Yeah, that sounds pretty bad. All right. What is the number 1 worst
according
way?
to science?
Uh-huh.
Something I've never heard of. Or maybe this is what you talked. Scaphism? Is that what you just talked about?
I don't know. What is it?
No, escapism or the boats, because it's just the picture looks like it could be, was an ancient method of execution designed by the Persians to cause much suffering is possible before death. The only descriptions of the practice that we have are from the Greeks, the mortal enemies of the Persians, so we can't be entirely sure how common the practice actually was. One thing that we can be sure of, however, it would be a terrible way to die. The victim would be trapped inside two boats or hollowed out tree trunks with just their heads, hands, and feet protruding. They would be force-fed milk and honey, some kind of Persian irony there, to a point at which they would have horrendous diarrhea. At this point, more milk and honey would be poured all over them. This sounds kind of like what you were saying.
It does.
Yep. The idea that the boat's filled with honey, debilitate. Actually, yep, the insects would burrow into your skin.
Oh no.
Torture be dragged out as long. Yep, this is what you were talking about. So that's according to science, the worst way to die.
Oh my god, dude, that sounds so disgusting.
Because the picture right away, I was like, this sounds like what you were talking about.
There's a picture of it?
Just like a drawing of a person covered with bugs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that sounds just like the grossest, most unsanitary and unsavory way to die. On Game of Thrones, they did this thing, and I don't think it was real, but they would take like a old pail, like a bucket that was made out of wood, and they would stick a rat into the bucket, and then they would stick the bucket open side into your midsection. So you've got this bucket kind of stuck to you with a rat on the inside, and then they would use a torch to
They did this in Fast and the Furious.
Did they really?
And I thought it was the funniest shit I'd ever seen.
And the rat's trying to get out. It'll go any fucking way it can to get out. Holy, what Fast and Furious was that in the first one?
I think the first one.
Holy
they
shit.
put a metal bucket and they put that, and then the rat freaks out.
I had no idea. I'm
90% sure that's what it's from.
Yeah, it sounds.
I was a teenager when I watched it, and I remember, like, it was one of those things that, probably horrible, but the way it was filmed was the most comical thing at the time because it's the Fast and Furious movies.
That's funny. Torture. Let's see if I can pull this up.
Fast and Furious rat and bucket. I searched it. It definitely was.
Rat torture.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
Okay. Then that explains why I hadn't seen that one.
Which one's that?
The second one.
No, second. That's what I thought, but.
Oh, yeah. So supposedly they have done that before.
That sounds miserable.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yeah, that's a nasty, nasty thing. I remember something similar in Pit in the Pendulum, but I actually think the rats were like eating his blood. So he like put blood on the ropes so that he put blood on the ropes so the rats would eat through the fucking ropes to let him out of the pendulum before the thing killed him. That's that Edgar Allan Poe story from.
The Vincent Price was the movie, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's right.
Love Vincent Price, man. Anything with Vincent Price is good.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So apparently the Argentines would use a telescopic tube to guide the rats inside the prisoner's body through the rectum or vagina to do that.
Holy shit.
Man, torture. Yeah, so there's a lot of horrible, horrible ways to die. For my topic, this last week has been just full of two of my favorite little memes, and yeah, as I acknowledged at the beginning, they're gonna die hard. You know how it goes. It's like the more fun something is for a short amount of time, like the quicker it's gonna just need to be retired, because once everybody gets a hold of it, it's already kind of over. And I realize, like, once
the life cycle on a meme is very short.
Very, very short indeed. And you can already tell, like, when it makes it to Facebook, it's fucking over. It's already done by the time, because when people on Facebook catch it, and there's like, Gen Xers and anyways, it's the OK Boomer meme. Have you seen it?
Is this the one with the dog?
No, the OK Boomer meme has been being used apparently for a couple of years, but it just really got popular over the last couple weeks. And according to knowyourmeme.com, OK Boomer is a dismissive retort often used to disregard or mock baby boomers and those perceived as having old-fashioned views or being out of touch. The exact origin of the phrase is currently unknown. The earliest instance is on Twitter and can be traced back to April 2018. So basically, you'll have an older person, any sort of older person, and they'll say, millennials are ruining the fucking boxed macaroni and cheese industry because they like avocado toast, or millennials can afford a $5 cup of coffee, but they can't afford to buy a house. And instead of like engaging them, you just say, okay, boomer, and you move on with it. So it's just like, it's a way of dismissing an argument, and it's kind of a response to millennials being fucking blamed for everything for the past decade. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I feel like our fucking generation's such crybaby bitches, and I feel like that's I think for me hearing this, I feel like that's the okay boomer dismissal of everything is what's everything that's wrong with the millennial generation.
Well,
is we don't engage. We just go, oh, okay, yeah, you're this, oh, you're a boomer. It doesn't matter.
But
and I'm like,
if you Google right now, just say millennials ruined, and see what pops up.
I do the same with baby boomers. I guess you guarantee it's the same thing.
Okay, let's see about that. I'm gonna do boomers ruined. And okay, on one hand, I don't think that the finger pointing and the not engaging each other is positive.
I mean, it's funny. It's like a joke, but
and I feel like nothing good has ever come from just straight up dismissing somebody. But if the statement that they make is completely like this blanket statement that anybody that's under 50 is a boomer is completely inaccurate. Like there's a whole like this okay boomer thing didn't come from the millennials. It came from the Zoomers. It's the kids even younger than us.
Oh yeah,
that did it.
Well, they also think it's funny. We're millennials.
Right.
And it's amazing how many people I meet who are like 19 and like, I'm a millennial. And you're like, no, you're not, you fucking moron. You're not a millennial.
And there's also this thing that like,
did you Google baby boomer ruined?
Oh yeah.
Ton of them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So first off, here are the things, this is from Market Watch, which I don't know what that is, but it says, here are things millennials have been accused of killing. The 9-to-5 work week, focus groups, dinner dates, cruises, napkins, running, golf, soap bars, sex, relationships, marriage, face-to-face interaction, vacations, home ownership, wine corks, diamonds, department stores. Okay. And then
some of those things I'm happy to say we're gone. Like department stores and diamonds, like, get rid of them. Who gives a shit?
Fuck all that shit.
Sex, yes, they have destroyed this. We've covered this, how millennials have less sex than anyone.
Yes. And I think porn is probably more responsible for it than millennials, but okay, whatever.
I think a lot of it is us too.
So this isn't as clear cut of a list.
Here's my thing is, there's good and bad with any generation. Is there a lot of shit that fucking boomers fucked up? Yeah. Is there a lot of great shit about the generation? Yeah. Is there a lot of great things that millennials doing? Absolutely. Is there a lot of fucking annoying things about millennials? Yeah. This happens every generation.
It does. And it's since the beginning of time. It's always been, we don't understand what the young people are doing.
Yeah. And the young people think the old people are all idiots and never lived a life and were never young ever either.
I feel like, as I mentioned, it being a kind of a retort to this idea that for a long time there has been this very boomers. I don't know what your life experience is like. In my experience, 50-year-olds still think I'm a fucking kid. They treat everybody that's younger than them like children. They're always like the kids, these millennials, these young people and shit. And it's like, I don't have to call you sir or ma'am because I'm a fucking adult. Like, treat me like an adult, treat me with respect, and don't fucking diminish me because you can't wrap your head around the fact that I'm actually a grown up.
I don't think I think that's just being aging. I think millennials are going to do the same fucking thing.
Do you?
Mark my words, 1000%. I'm already hearing it. Because you're seeing this big conservative wave coming. You're going to think all our liberal millennials are not going to be like, I don't get these new young conservative kids.
Yeah, maybe so.
It's going to happen. 1000% will happen because it's happened since the beginning of time. Because, okay, do you look at, I mean, we're adults, but do you look at a 15-year-old and think, they're just a dumb kid? I do.
Yeah, of course.
And guess what? When you're 50, you're going to look at 30-year-old and go, I look at a 24-year-old sometimes and go, you're a dumb 24-year-old.
I do it too.
And they're technically adults.
Yeah.
You know, I was married at 24.
I feel like 25 is the point that I stopped considering a person being a kid.
I don't know, man. I meet 30-year-olds who are kids.
I hate that shit. And again, maybe it's my personal life experience. Maybe it's the fact that I say dude too much. I don't fucking know. But I do find that, and maybe it's a Southern thing, but it's like this whole like, I don't know, man. I hate the idea of like this. Respect your elders, call everybody ma'am and sir.
Oh, hell no, I love it. I call everyone
really?
sir and ma'am. Yes, ma'am, yes, sir, all the time.
Fuck that.
Well, I think also because I'm from a place where it's more liberal, where no one fucking respects anyone, you know? And so, like, I feel like it's kind of nice to see someone actually go, yes, ma'am, no, sir.
And I can respect somebody without the formal, what would you call it? Descriptor, pronoun or whatever, you know? It's like
I got my head chewed off the other day for calling someone ma'am. And I'm like, yo, you need to chill.
Like, some people don't like that shit. I don't like being called sir. Do you like being called sir?
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
See,
sign of respect.
And maybe that's me trying to have my cake and eat it too, where I'm like, I want to be treated like an adult, but don't you fucking dare address me as one.
Here's my thing. I'm a firm believer of intent. You know, if someone says, hey, thank you, sir. Cool. If she's 15, cool. If she's my age, cool. Who gives a shit? She means it as a respectful way. You know, it's for me, it's all about the intent behind it. When I say yes, ma'am, no, sir, I'm not trying to like disparage anyone. I say it to my wife. My wife will be like, can you get me this? Yes, ma'am. I say it to my wife.
Yeah. And if you were like, hey, is it cool to fucking talk about this week on the podcast? Or, hey, what do you, do you want to talk at 4:00 this afternoon? I will be like, yes, sir. YESSIR, but it's never like yes, sir. But so yeah, I agree with the intent thing. And I just feel, I like the okay boomer thing because to me, it shuts down the discourse, but in a way it's dismissive, and maybe that's the point of it, is to just be like, yeah, you're old, you're out of touch, I don't give a fuck what you say, and maybe that is ageist.
Oh, it's 100%. That's I feel like the biggest problem with our generation. Like I like to be a lot more respectful of my generation than I do judgmental of other generations, because other generations had their time to be introspective on themselves.
But you don't like millennials, I don't think.
I'm a millennial. You're a millennial. I like us, but I feel like we do this badge of like, fuck all boomers. It's all their fault. And I'm like, yeah, they fucked up a ton of shit. So maybe instead of just shutting everyone down, maybe we'd be a little introspective and look at some of the shit we fuck up.
Yeah, and I 100% agree with that. And I also think it's a little bit ludicrous to say millennials are blank and boomers are blank.
Oh, it's so stupid.
You like me, have experience in sales and marketing and all of that kind of stuff. And the whole generational thing, it was really built as a way to market to consumers.
Yep.
They want to know the different behavioral traits and spending traits of different age groups of people. Anytime you go work at a fucking sales job, they're like, all right, there's 4 kinds of consumers. You're going to deal with the Mike. Mike likes the most recent technology, or you're going to deal with the Jim. Jims care more about the value of the product than they do having the latest and the greatest. And they've broken everything down into these weird subcategories that helps optimize sales. So the whole generational thing is really A, marketing,
and
100%. Then B, being able to integrate with different generations of people in the workplace.
So for me, like even as someone who I'm sales, I do phone to phone sales, you know, when I hear a guy and he's clearly older and he's from the South, you can guarantee I'm saying, yes, sir, no, sir. You know,
yeah.
If it's a 20-year-old dude from California, I'm literally on a sales call, like, yo, what's good, man? How are you doing?
Right.
This and this. And I close those kids because they don't want to be called sir, because it's a generational thing.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And you do learn those kind of like nuances. Like we can break things down into so many different subcategories, but part of being like a good communicator is understanding how to engage people of all different groups.
It reminds me of, I'm going to do the thing that you hate, but there's this kid at work. He's 24. There's this kid at work and super talented. Great kid. I really like him. He talks like a surfer bro, though. It's just how he talks. And I'm like, yo, dude, I get that's how you talk. But when you're talking to a 6-year-old dude from, you know, Alabama, you're not going to get that cell talking like that.
Yeah, it's fair. And you know, I'm a beach Southerner, so everybody is like so many people, dude. Like we talk.
Oh,
like
me too. Like I'm that
surfer
West Coast
hicks,
influence. Everyone's like, what? And I talk very hood sometimes. Like when people, I'm very like, yo, what's good, fam? How you been? Like it's that's how I talk naturally.
Yeah, yeah, right. So, okay, I got to use it one time, and it felt so good. I got to use it one time. There was this guy, Greg Silver, 3 days ago on my Slashers episode of Movie Monsters, and I know you can hear this now. So, I'm not gonna say it's a great joke. It's not a great joke, but here, let's listen through this real quick and see how fucking offensive it is. Where you at? Let's see. I gotta scroll. Talking about 80s slasher villains. And okay, here we go. Man, where's it at? This is not good. Not good podcasting.
Also, talk about the most millennial shit you can do is to fight people with memes. That's like a stereotype in itself.
Oh, for sure. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It is very representative of our group of people in general.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Another entry was released pursuing her daughter Jane with the sad. So he started brain that wasn't as bad, but really, not the most terrifying. Success. The movies reflected it with buckets of blood and copious amounts of nudity, and a sort of every man for themselves mentality. Like Gordon Gekko and other powerful moguls, these killers trampled over bystanders to get what they wanted, which in both cases seems to be getting up in the guts of some blonde chick with big tits. In fact, you may say that Freddy and Jason were sort of the Donald Trumps of their time, only nowhere near as dangerous.
That was the joke.
Oh, okay.
Talking about 80s slasher movies and capitalism. That was kind of the, this idea that everything's bigger and more, the idea that slasher killers are basically just like running through people, specifically female. Anyways, you heard the joke. That was the whole setup and everything. And this person said, he commented, "Your wisecrack about Donald Trump was when I and everyone else with a brain stopped watching."
Oh my God, I hate all this stuff.
And I said, "Okay, Boomer." And that was it. No response after that. I just shut it the fuck down, and I got a really big kick out of it. It felt good to use it in context.
See, I'm one of those people, you know me, I don't engage with people enough online, anymore. Where there's no scenario where I'd use this. Because when someone says something stupid, I'm just like, all right, I don't even respond. I'm like, I'm not going to respond to you. I'm going to go live my life in the real world.
I just feel like any political figure, any politician, any celebrity, any public figure, they're fucking fair game to make fun of. Give me a 100%. Fucking break, dude.
Here's my thing that bothers me. Like, that really bothers me is people are totally fine attacking the person as long as it's not their guy or making jokes about the person. And I have the South Park mentality. Like, we should make fun of all these people because they're all fucking awful.
Yeah. 100%, man. If I were the kind of person that weren't willing or able to criticize Democratic presidents, it would be one thing. But I've never been like that.
No,
I'm
that's
make
me. Like,
fucking fun of somebody.
I don't give a shit when people I rip apart conservatives constantly.
Yes.
And I feel like that's the problem with just everything is the tribalism. Is just even millennial versus boomer tribalism.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like everyone's so like their group, their tribe, and I'm just like, I just want to talk to a person. Are you cool? Like, I don't really give a shit what you think about most things, but I can disagree with you on 99 things and agree with you on one, and we're good.
Dude, it's very possible that the person that quoted that is a fucking 25-year-old. I have no way of knowing.
Probably most likely is. I mean, it's funny. Our generation, like our personal generation, is super liberal. The generation underneath us, they're not that liberal. They're very libertarian. Like, I meet young kids all the time, or young kids, but people in their 20s, like early 20s, like 21, who are like, yeah, I like Donald Trump all the time. And like, I live in a liberal ass place.
I don't have enough communication with people in that age group to really know.
I mean, mine's all anecdotal, obviously.
Right.
But like, I'm always shocked at how many people, because meeting someone who's 30, who even like me, who's like, I don't like Trump, but he's not as bad as everyone says he is. Like, I'm like a crazy person for our generation, you know? And I meet like people younger than me and they're like, no, he's great. Like, so I would say probably likely that person was not a boomer. But,
I feel like the okay boomer thing is more, I don't even think it's all that age based. I think it's just kind of a way to fucking hit people with conservative values, which maybe is not the fairest thing in the world, but it seems like that. It's like, I believe marriage should be between a man and a woman. Okay, boomer. Like that.
It's the same thing. It's the liberal version of cuck.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like how when conservatives go, oh, yeah, or SGW, or yeah, okay, soy boy. Like
yeah,
that.
For sure.
Like it's the same thing.
It is. And so this news pundit, he released just a brilliant tweet, and he said, "Boomer is the N-word of ageism."
Oh my god!
And I'm sure you can imagine what that tweet looks like underneath. Just a million variations of the okay boomer discussion. And one of the best ones was a meme of John Mulaney, and he's doing one of his stand-up specials. And I mean, this is the perfect response. He says, if you're comparing a word to the N-word and you can say the word that you can't say is the worst one of the two. Like, if it were the B word versus the N word, that would be a different conversation. But you can't say that another word is equivalent to a word you can't fucking say.
I agree. Even like the C word. I've said the C word, you know, like it doesn't bother me to say that word. It's still not as bad as the N word. Like the N word's a word I will not utter.
Right. Correct. And boomer is like, okay, if that's the case, then millennial is a pejorative.
It's all intent. Like you can say like, oh yeah, millennials are great, they're doing different things. That's a descriptor. You can say fucking millennials. That's a pejorative.
But you can't say, oh, those N-words, they're really they're really taking care of business these days. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can't say, you know who I like, the N-word community.
Yeah, obviously. So he took the tweet down. Obviously, I think he must have had a moment of clarity and been like, "Yeah, maybe that's not the best."
Twitter
comparison.
is the worst. Everyone makes people just like make the first thing that pops in their head without taking time. Like, and I've done it. You've done it. Where you haven't got reaction, and I've said stuff where I'm like, I should probably just put my phone down and walked away for like 2 seconds because then I delete the tweet because I'm like, that was stupid what I said.
Yeah, I didn't mean that. I just thought I did for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So
and that was probably one of those moments. He thought it for a second and was like, "What the fuck?"
So, okay, that's the whole okay boomer phenomenon, and then this one I actually like even better, and it's the Epstein didn't kill himself. And it's the weirdest meme. Basically, you can be talking about any fucking thing. Like, I could be giving you instructions on how to change your car battery out, and then just somewhere in that whole spiel, just be like, "And Epstein didn't kill himself."
Oh, okay. So I get the context of it now. At first I was like, how do you use this?
It's so random. There's a beer company. Obviously now it's like the Storm Area 51 thing. Like once the mainstream catches on to it, it really fucks it up. But if you Google it real quick, here's a good one. How to eat candy corn. Step 1, open bag. Step 2, pour candy corn into trash can. Step 3, Epstein didn't kill himself. And I love Epstein didn't kill himself because it crosses party lines. You know what I mean?
Agree.
Everybody knows that the motherfucker did not kill himself. It is a bipartisan issue. People know the Clintons and probably the fucking Trumps were all involved with it.
This is just a shit show.
Definitely the Clintons. Definitely fucking Bill Clinton. And probably
Bill Clinton.
Yeah. And
Donald Trump is questionable. There's no like, I don't feel as confident that what's it called, but I don't feel like enough to sit here and argue in his favor for it.
Correct. Yeah. So there was this guy on the news, and it was so funny. He was like, it was on a local news show, and it's Dogs of the Military on Fox News, and this guy is sitting here talking about training dogs, and just right at the end, Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, and they cut the fucking feed, you know? Like, it's just so funny how he perfectly slipped it into the conversation, and I think it's fucking fantastic. The 4 ghosts in Pac-Man are all programmed to act differently. Red ones chase you, pink ones try to position itself in a set way, blue ones try to ambush you, orange is random, and Epstein didn't kill himself.
I could tell from this conversation, I'm like, man, I'm really not active on social media the way I used to be. I'm so out of the meme game.
Yeah, like, dude, I'm shocked that you did. It just shows that you've been drawing and doing things fucking more productive in the past week than this.
Yeah, like literally, I don't do shit ever now. And I'm like, and it's funny, I'm becoming more of an okay boomer. Like, I'm becoming more of a boomer by staying off the internet.
Okay. Oh, and then the okay boomer thing. One more. I totally forgot. Real world example of it. There was a woman in Parliament. And she was, let's see, Parliament. She was in the middle of doing like a big meeting. Here we go. This is from Guardian News. And I love it again, just because how subtle and just like immediate. What am I trying to say? Like a, what do you call it? It's like a fucking reaction that is completely non...
like an automatic reaction?
Yeah. Whatever that's called. A reflex. That's the word. All right, here we go.
Mr. Speaker, we are in a climate crisis. If we don't get this right, nothing else matters. In the year 2050, I will be 56 years old. Yet, right now, the average age of this 52nd Parliament is 49 years old. Okay, Boomer.
Did you hear it?
Yeah. So what did she say? She says the average age is 49.
Of the Parliament, and then I don't know what the person says to her.
Yeah, because I want to see what happened.
Let's see. The caption, department, struggle with millennial slang, quoting. All right, what did he say?
Yeah, I'm very curious to see what he...
Parliament, okay, boomer, New Zealand. Okay, boomer.
I have a hard time. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm calling it. Mark my words this day that I said our generation is going to hate this shit when we're older. We're going to go, man, remember when we used to just shut down everyone because we thought anyone that was older than us had no life experience and were idiots?
Well, dude, back in the 60s and the 70s, it was don't trust anyone over 30. That's what the hippies said. So, like, the boomers did the exact same fucking thing.
And now they're on the end of it and they hate it.
Yes, and you're right. It probably will be that kind of thing.
Because our generation, for whatever reason, thinks we're not going to age. We really believe that. Even though we know we're going to, we really believe we're never going to get old.
He heckled her about her age. It doesn't say specifically what he said.
And see, I hate the reverse of that too. Just because she's 30 doesn't mean she doesn't have a fucking brain.
Well, and that's just it. She's 30. She's not a kid. 15-year-old, you know? It's like, and that I think I feel like it's reactionary, which typically the reactionary thing isn't the good thing. You know, like when we are forced into a situation where we act reactionary, there's a little like you're on the defensive already. Mm-hmm. And there is a lot of that. And I feel, when I posted a joke about it on Facebook, there was a very divided reaction because there's a lot of like, you should respect your elders. You should not.
You should respect everyone. That's kind of my mentality, you know? And I feel like because I know a ton of boomers who are fucking assholes and they're not going to get my respect just because they're older than me and kiss my ass. Yeah. But that being said, a stranger, I'm totally the yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir person. I am.
So this is on October. Okay, back to the Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself meme. The origin was October 2nd, 2019. So this one is very new. User McFate77 posted a parody of Some Say Charmander is the best using PlayStation and Xbox with the final panel reading, but deep down we all know Epstein didn't kill himself. So it's oh wait, why did I say Charmander?
I have no idea.
Some say Charmander is because the meme actually says some say Xbox is the best, some say PlayStation is the best, but deep down we all know that Epstein didn't kill himself. So they're using the shit out of this one. I get a kick out of it, and I love
it's going to be gone next week.
Oh, yeah. We'll be on to the next thing, and it'll be totally uncool to fucking say okay, boomer. You know what I mean?
The life cycle on a meme is like, I mean, literally at this point, it's like days.
Yes, yeah, and once it gets worn out, everybody's just like, all right, enough, we get it. So, what's the next one gonna be, man? What's going on right now that's gonna be the next big meme?
It'll be something about the Trump impeachment. I don't know what.
What else is going on in society? We live in a society. What about that meme? We live in a society meme. This one I don't really know much about. It's a gamer joke. Gamer joke, also known as Gamers Rise Up and We Live in a Society, is an image macro series featuring depictions of the DC Comics supervillain Joker, accompanied with intentionally edgy or cringeworthy captions. The memes typically praise video game enthusiasts and criticize women named Veronica who friend-zone them in favor of dating jocks. Examples of the memes are frequently submitted to Gangweed Facebook. I don't know about these. I'm trying to find a funny one. Let's put this in ways since you don't seem to understand. And gamers, through rigorous amount of training, have developed more stamina than the average male, aka your boyfriend. That means prolonged ejaculation and harder erections. Last longer in bed equals more powerful orgasms for both of us and possibly even female ejaculation. Don't believe me? You'll never know if you don't try. So I guess that we live in a society thing. Now that I'm thinking about it, it definitely sounds like the Todd Phillips Joker movie.
Really?
Yeah, just the idea.
I need to see this
again. Kind of a reactionary thing. Like the whole movie's like, yeah, we live in a society where bad stuff happens. We get it.
Oh, okay. That's kind of the context of it.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's the best way that this older millennial can summarize it. You guys let us know down in the comment section what your favorite meme of the week is. What you think about the OK Boomer meme, as well as the Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. And if you have any good memes that you don't think we've seen, go ahead and share them with us via social media.
Yeah, share them with Jeremy. He'll appreciate it.
And I will send them to Caleb.
Yeah, and I will just ignore those texts.
Caleb, we live in a society, man.
You could have used OK Boomer there. It would have been even better.
Yeah, well, I'm retiring it, man. I'm giving it back to the Zoomers.
Okay.
They deserve this one thing. Hell in a handbag. We live in a society. All right, guys, thank you so much for stopping by to check out episode number, I think, 39 of People Are Terrible. We're about to turn 40.
Oh, man.
We're
about to be older millennials.
Correct. You can't get much older of a millennial than me.
I don't know, 40. What's millennial? My brother, how old are you?
I am 37. I think it's 80 to 2000.
Oh, yeah, you're my brother's age. I was say my older brother you're the exact same age, and he's a millennial. So,
does he identify as a millennial?
Yeah.
All right, excellent.
I mean, he's always says how he's the same thing. He's like, I always get sick when these like 19-year-old kids are like, I'm a millennial. He's like, no, you're not. You're not a millennial.
Yeah, and Gen X.
Now he hates millennials, though.
Does he?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Like he hates millennials. You think I do? No, he hates millennials.
All right. Well, until next week, you can find me eating avocado toast down at the local coffee shop, overpaying for my coffee. I don't even drink expensive coffee.
Oh, Dad, I'm a millennial, but I love walking to a coffee shop and getting a nice cup of coffee.
It smells good. Oh, okay, dude, before we go, I fucking went out to Destin yesterday to go see Terminator Dark Fate, which I'm not even all that excited about. However, it was playing in Dolby, which is the IMAX awesome fucking surround sound. So I'm like, dude, if I'm going to see Terminator, I should see it in this environment. This is going to be the way to enjoy it. We get out there and they're like, oh, sorry, which Destin's like an hour and a half fucking drive from here. Oh, sorry. Terminator Dark Fate hadn't been doing really well in the theater. So we decided to put Midway in the Dolby Theater instead. Do you guys want to see Midway? And I'm like, no, I don't. Fuck you. We're out. And they gave us a couple free popcorns and free drinks.
Yeah, that's pretty shitty.
What the fuck?
I mean, granted, Midway's probably better than the new Terminator, but not by much.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It looks pretty bad too.
It just came out this weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend, all that shit, or Veterans Day. It's some fucking holiday.
It's weekend. Regardless. If you pay for something, I want to see the thing I fucking paid for.
Irritating, man. But when we booked the tickets, we were like, wow, there's only like 2 or 3 people in here. So I know the new Terminator movie bombed. I understand why the theater did it, but dick move, dude. Luckily, we went out there to do other stuff. If we would have drove out there specifically for it, man.
I think we went to go see Happy Death Day, and or something like that. And we ended up, it wasn't working. So like, well, you can see it. It's about to play at the next place. And we ended up seeing it.
Oh, so I'm going to see The Lighthouse this afternoon.
Oh, dude, I want to see it so bad.
Really excited about that one. And then I saw Dr. Sleep on Thursday night.
How was it?
I'm really curious to hear what you think about it. I loved it. I loved it, but did you watch The Haunting on Hill House, that Mike Flanagan series on Netflix?
Yeah.
Did you like it?
Hated it.
Did you like it until the last episode?
No, hated it until the last episode.
Oh,
hated
my
all
God.
of it from start to finish.
There's loved it.
Episode 5 is one good episode in that entire series.
That's the flashback in the funeral parlor.
Yep, and the broken neck lady.
Yeah, dude. So
yeah, that's the only good part in that show.
Did you watch Gerald's Game?
Like Gerald's Game until the end.
So, okay, Mike Flanagan is the Stephen King of Stephen King adaptations.
Yes, I would agree with this.
It's a fucking awesome movie with the last 10 or 15 minutes that I was like, oh, that kind of undermines everything that happened before it, and that sucks.
I loved Gerald's Game, and then it ended, and I was like, oh, that ending. If they would have just, like, where she escapes, cut the movie there.
Yeah.
And not that movie's 10 times better.
100% agreed. So yeah, I if you do end up seeing Dr. Sleep, we'll talk about it.
That's Mike Flanagan too?
Yeah, dude, the guy just does Stephen King adaptations apparently now, and he's very good at it.
I don't know, man. His show kind of ruined him for me.
He loves that fucking blue and green color.
Yeah, he does.
Dr. Sleep is very blue and green. And what bothered me the most about it is that Kubrick's Shining is so much different than The Shining. And Dr. Sleep is a sequel to the novel, not to The Shining, however, or to the movie. However, this tries to be both. And when it's trying to be a sequel to The Shining, it is not near as cool as when it's just being Dr. Sleep.
Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
It's pretty cool though. But yeah, Victoria fell asleep in it, so she wasn't super wild about it.
Movies that people fall asleep in are normally my type of movies.
Right. Yeah. Same page. All right, man. It's been fun. You guys, appreciate you coming by to check it out. And until next time, and on behalf of both of us, be terrible. Bye.